Good day, friends. This is Martin Comtois, Martin Comtois, for the Scorpio Full Moon, Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024, 4:49 p.m. on the Pacific Coast, 7:49 here on the East Coast. Times, they are changing. You guys remember that Bob Dylan song? Um, so yes, indeed, times they are changing, and it is a Scorpio full moon. Quite eventful, isn't it? And so I've made it to the East Coast. I'm at my brother's house in my little basement room. Um, been getting mom ready for the big trip across um, the Atlantic seaboard to PI and then on to the Magdalene Islands, les Îles de la Madeleine. It's been quite an adventure. And in this show, what do we have? Um, in this show for the full moon, we have the end of the eclipse season. It's behind us. That was quite the times. I hope you fared well. Um, After this full moon here, the next day after, Mercury retrograde comes to an end. So the path ahead is becoming clear. We should experience quite a bit of change of energy. We've been going through the Jupiter Uranus conjunction. That certainly been on our minds and on our hearts, and especially all kinds of like an electric tension that we've been feeling, and then we've been experiencing lots of Chiron energy, the healing path of our times, and the triad of transformation is coming back into um, orb. So here's the chart. And the chart of this full moon, very interesting. So we have the sun in Taurus, and we have the moon in Scorpio. So that's a Scorpio full moon. And then it's in T square to Pluto. And so the sun, moon, T square, Pluto integrating the ancestral gift. It's it's been a lot recently. This we've been talking a lot about this ancestral healing. I was reading in Mary Louise von Franz's book on the golden ass. I was reading about how healing is it's a heightening of awareness and heightening of consciousness. Healing comes about by becoming more conscious of who we are. Like Jung said, individuation is to become what I've always been. And so that's an awareness of my full personality. The development of personality is the path of individuation. And this healing that we're all concerned with, that is an increasing of consciousness. The illness is the communication from the psychophysical nature, the psyche, and the somatic communicate to us, the body and the soul communicate to us. We have illnesses, they're communications. They're wanting to integrate parts of ourselves that are not being lived in a healthy way. So any healing is a heightening of consciousness, a becoming more myself. And so they're great prices that we have to pay for these heightening of consciousness, and they're mapped out alchemically by the path of the stars. And so this has been quite a stretch of time, hasn't it? I'm curious to know how you've been doing. Of course, it's been a while since I've been on. If you're just tuning into our shows, please subscribe. And if you're a regular, more material coming. I know I've gotten some comments about, hey, where have you been? I haven't posted in a couple of weeks. Well, I've been traveling across the country. Stopped in Manitoba, did a workshop there at On a Knoll. Everybody, hi, On a Knoll. Lots of friends. My friend Deandra hosted me there and then did a number of readings there. Was quite a wonderful visit and a break. And then I made it here a few days ago, and then I got the last leg of the trip here we're getting ready for. So thanks for tuning in and blah, 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 blah. Let's get back to the show. And that is, well, Mercury retrograde. So there's a big shift of energy coming along. The full moon is going to bring a big release. Then Mercury retrograde turning direct. Then Venus and Chiron conjunction. The healing continues. And then we have Venus, and if you see Venus here, it's getting ready to enter into Taurus, where it's exalted, and Mars is getting ready to get into Aries, where it is exalted. So there's going to be a lot more energy, a lot more joy. Spring has been kind of tardy and kind of stormy. The Jupiter Uranus conjunction, the winds of change have been blowing. But things are going to start settling in here after this full moon. And then the Jupiter Uranus conjunction at past the exact conjunction. So there should be some easing of that. Whoops, where did we go here? Okay, boom. So there should be some easing of the tension. And then there's the Mars-Neptune conjunction that's brewing, being in service to something greater than ourselves. So quite a bit of energy going through. I know I've been in a lot of tension myself through this whole movement, and everybody I'm talking to is feeling this tension. Again, we had Mercury retrograde, we had the eclipse season, and then we had Jupiter Uranus conjunction, and we had a number of Chiron conjunction. Mercury, we had 3 conjunctions of Mercury with Chiron. We still have 1 to go. We had Venus conjunction with Chiron. Now Venus and Mars are going to go into their home signs, and then we'll have a Mars conjunction with Chiron a little bit later. So it's been a lot going on, and I get the feeling that through this full moon and through these big shifts that are coming up, we're going to be experiencing quite a bit of shift of energy, and things are going to get easier. At least that's what I'm hoping for in my process. But then again, I'm in the middle of a really huge change of living on an island in the Pacific, on the west coast of Canada, and then going on a little island in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. I've up to 5,600 kilometers yet, and I still have 1,200 to go and a 6-hour ferry ride. So obviously, that has been big. I think one of the things that has been going on is the grieving process. So here's the next slide of the show. So alchemical opportunities. Okay, so on the 20th, we had the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. On the 21st, we have the Venus conjunction Chiron. On the 23rd, which is today, we have the Scorpio full moon. Then on the 24th, Mercury stations direct. Then on the 29th, Venus enters Taurus. That's going to feel really good. Mercury turning direct's going to feel really good. The getting on the other side of the full moon's going to feel really good. Then on the 30th, Mars enters into Aries, and that's going to put some energy into our process. That's going to be very lively, exciting. Venus in Taurus is going to be very comfortable and beautiful. And then on May 7th as well, the same day, we have Mercury conjunct Chiron and the Taurus new moon. And so we'll have the last pass of Mercury connecting with Chiron. So that'll be a very active, but to kind of on a downhill. It's been all uphill for a while. And then with the breaking of the full moon and with the breaking of the Mercury retrograde and with Venus entering into Taurus and Mars entering into Aries, this next week we should experience quite a bit of change of energy and also the integration of that Mercury conjunction with Chiron. Um, yeah, I'm going to try to be showing up a little more, doing these videos, kind of taking a break through the travels. I was hoping to do more videos, but the travels really took a lot out of me, and to be able to concentrate on everything's been difficult. I'm curious to know how you've been doing. And again, I'm sure you're all going to welcome the shift of energies. So I've been doing a new thing on my videos lately, and that is, well, lately, I haven't done anything in a while, but here's so these are meditations that I've had myself. There is no courage. There's no courage does not exist unless we experience fear. This is from a song by Lynn Miles, a popular Canadian, well, a kind of um, uh, um, a wonderful Canadian songwriter, but that is popular in the music, in the Canadian music industry. But anyway, one of my big influences, and she says, yeah, you can't have courage if you don't have fear. And so when we feel the fear, when we fear this tension, when we feel this tension, we have to pray, and we have to listen, and we have to trust that these changes that are taking place in our lives, this pain that we're experiencing, that it's part of a greater process of coming to consciousness. To this coming of consciousness, you can listen to your dreams for messages from your ancestors. And so I'm going to be doing more videos on dream analysis here coming up. I'm going to do one in the next couple of days. Listen to your dreams for messages from your ancestors. So the dream announces coming of consciousness of unconscious material, which also is heralded by the tension that we feel, the fear. And so by praying and by listening attentively and by trusting in the process, the dreams will announce these big changes. And so I think that we've all been feeling this process. And so again, I'm curious to hear what you've been feeling, and then mourn what is dying within you. And that's the sun, moon, uh, in opposition in T squared to Pluto, and the sun and the moon make no other angle to any of the planets but Pluto. So there's a real sense that there's something dying within us that is giving room for a rebirth, for a heightening of consciousness from a more integral living with the ancestral gift, because the ancestral gift is also the ancestral curse. And so if we feel the pain associated with our ancestral connections, then that is the transformation and the letting go that allows for our gifts to unfold. Of course, this is a very Jungian perspective to looking at the process of healing. And again, astrology is the alchemical guide to this process that takes place. Blah, blah, blah. What else? Mourn what is dying within you. Celebrate what is being born of this process. And so celebrating what is being born of this process. So in the process of dying, that's very difficult, but if we can focus on our dreams, on our praying, on our listening, on what is communicated through the pain, then we can learn to celebrate this rebirth process, this birth process. We're giving, like Nietzsche said, you have to be willing to be burnt up if you want to give birth to a star. So we are giving birth to a star ourselves, and we have to be willing to be burnt up in the fire of transformation. Times, they are a changing, and we have to change with them. And part of the pain we're feeling is a collective pain, a sense that things are just not going to be the same moving forward, and we have to adjust. And that adjustment period is a heightening of consciousness. So through this tremendous tension that we're experiencing, we are awakening. The pain of rebirth is a dying and a being reborn. And so I think we're really all experiencing that again through the eclipse season. Phew, that was intense, huh? And then through Mercury retrograde, and then through the Jupiter Uranus conjunction, all those things are getting past us. And then with Venus coming into Taurus and Mars coming into Aries in the coming week, that's going to change the energy drastically, and we can ease into the joy of spring and prepare for a beautiful summer. Of course, there's going to be the triad of transformation. We'll be giving you more on that as we come along. It's coming back into orb. And so here we are. So this here is the Healer and the Dreamer Astrology channel. We do astrology, alchemy, dream work, and we study Carl Jung. The Healer and the Dreamer weaves an insightful tapestry using astrology, alchemy, dream work, and the analytical psychology of Carl Gustav Jung to bring clarity to the path of self-realization in our modern times. I'm Martin Comtois, and my email address is spiritofthetimes108@gmail.com if you like to communicate with me. Again, this is big transition for me, going from a West Coast resident to an East Coast resident, and I'm still very much in the process. It was nice checking in with you guys. Again, if you're new, subscribe. If you've been around, you know I like comments, you know I like questions, and give me a like button if you can, and we'll catch you on the rebound. Whoop, whoop, whoop.